Hey everyone, it's Tamer here. Just wanted to take a moment to share with you what this channel is going to be about and what to expect. I have a bunch of interests in several different areas, and uh, I'm super ADD. So, for my own sanity, I'm just going to do everything on this one channel. I'm a composer, a musician. I run my own publishing company, um, and also a performance company that I want to get off the ground, where uh, we will create uh, an opportunity for people with disabilities to be able to attend concerts, and uh, kind of using VR and other types of technology um, for accessibility's sake, and working with venues to make that possible. Um, and yeah, so I run a trading card company as well. I used to collect back when I was a kid. So um, I buy, sell, trade, consign. Um, do consultations if you want me to take a look at your collection and see what it's worth. I'll also make an offer if it's something that I want to um, add to my inventory. But you know, being in several different uh, places as far as like you know businesses and things. How do I say? It can tend to feel like you're being pulled in a bunch of different directions, but um, I'm really grateful, and I love what I do, and uh, you know, want to chronicle my own path and growth, uh, and share that with you. You know, um, so um, my publishing company, when I joined ASCAP, it's called Labor of Love and Service Publishing, um, and I shortened it to LLS. But I'm going to be changing the name pretty soon. Um, I might just have it as Labor of Love and Service, and um, do it like that. But that's what it is for me, music. It's a labor of love, and um, it truly is a service that you're providing, and you're doing for others, and serving the song and serving, you know, um, and serving those who you're sharing it with too. You know, um, so like I'll be talking about music stuff, score studies, stuff about trading cards and the hobby, just bitch and moan about how corrupt the country has become and the world, and what a fucked up timeline we're in because, you know, of all the universes in the multiverse, we're in the one that's like where pedophiles human traffic, uh, you know, capitalism uh, is encouraged, and you can only really get rich by exploiting people, like doing amoral things. Uh, it's really not set up for civilized society. Why we have a minimum wage in the first place, you know? We had a whole race of human beings subjugated to slavery, and they fought a war over it because they wanted their free labor and they wanted to own others and be above and be treated like more than. And the price of cotton and wheat and corn and tobacco, all that stuff went up after the Civil War during the Reconstruction period because they couldn't have their free labor anymore. And they got kids to do it. And they had terrible conditions, and we had to put in an FDA, regulate. Because unregulated capitalism is inhumane at best. It's cruel and unusual. And artists are particularly vulnerable to this because intellectual property is so easily exploitable. And we're seeing it now with all the AI, impersonating humans, and people in big tech feeding their AI the whole breadth of the knowledge of humanity to mimic and recreate uh, human ingenuity. And you know, the technology isn't the problem; it's the people and the way they use it and the way the system's set up. Uh, AI could be used to be a real boon to humanity, but because of the people who created it, and that's its biggest flaw, is that it was created by humans and misanthropic humans. Very little regard for the value of life. And you know, we musicians are forced to work in several other fields just to get by because music doesn't pay what it used to. It's like the exploitation has gotten worse with the technology. Um, and white collar crime doesn't really get enforced. Anti monopoly, antitrust laws don't get enforced. Uh, and the inequity and inequality continues to rise. You know, ever since World War II, they've been chipping away at all of the uh, social progress and um, the two income family didn't come in until after the Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act came into play, were put in. Corporate takeover of America with Nixon. They saw what they could get away with. They should have made an example out of him, but it only got worse after that. And it started to erode at our civil liberties and family structure, um, and obstructing the advancement of women and all other marginalized communities and underrepresented, historically underrepresented. Um, and now we're at this point where like a handful of families have more wealth than the rest of humanity combined. Uh, and, you know, with that person dying in an Amazon warehouse and, them just saying, hey, we're going to have the safety team check it out, get back to work, get back to work. And uh, this person dies on their shift. I mean, if that isn't indicative of a Gilded Age type story, I don't know what is. Just the level of indifference, and, you know, these people, we're all just replaceable to them. That's why they are firing everyone. They're putting robots in place for. That's why they're investing so heavily into AI. And they don't just want us to eat shit and die, quite literally. Uh, it would be cheaper for them to have better ingredients in our food, but they put things that are illegal in most places because I don't know, maybe it's better profit to keep people sick for the uh, pharmaceutical and insurance and all healthcare industry. It's all a den of iniquity with what's been going on. Um, and I'm really sick of seeing how unjust it all has become. And I advocate for better conditions for us, for all of us, particularly for us musicians, because we've historically been exploited. Um, and there's been a lot of you know, finding new ways to screw people over. It's really like so wrong how it happens. And you know, being displaced and working in other fields, and then like for those that do get to work, uh, it's like it takes too long to get paid, and you have to fight for every penny if you're not the headliner. Um, and for small artists, it's like even worse because You know, they don't want to pay if you don't have like a big following or, you know, have a ton of under 1,000 plays on Spotify. Like it's unconstitutional. It's your IP, whether it's one play or 100 billion plays. And that justification that they're trying to give to not pay artists is all that it is. It's just thievery. And it's cloaked in some kind of justification. And it's really just foul. Uh, we can overcome, and we will, you know, aside from all of the problems in our society, we have to resist and persist and demand better. So, um, yeah, I was kind of rambling, going in a bunch of different directions, but basically, you know, this is my channel. It's going to be me talking about all this, how screwed everything is, because I can't shut up about it, and I won't. Um, and uh, music and score studies, but give me some time because uh, it takes a lot to like go through all of that, especially because I'm just one person. So uh, yeah, um, but I enjoy that stuff a lot because that's what got me into wanting to write music for films and all that is being inspired by all of the, you know, like the kids cartoons growing up, like the Looney Tunes and Animaniacs and uh, DuckTales and uh, you know, Jurassic Park. Some of those like iconic scores from the early '90s. This was my childhood. Um, Late '80s and all that. Um, but uh, yeah, um, talking about that kind of stuff and geeking out on theory and talking about the hobby, trading cards and stuff. I'll put links in the description to my eBay store and to my music. I wrote a record called Shape and Color, where I did a series of paintings, and each painting has a piece of music attached to it. I have some MIDI mock-ups on my website as a demo, but I really want to have live players play it because it just makes a qualitative difference. But you know, member of the musicians union, and I want to make sure that like I will pay people for their time to, and if I can't afford to do that, then uh, I won't be able to. So that's kind of why it's like that right now. And you know, I'm working on building that so that I can get to the point where I can have some really nice recordings. And I also did a like a an EP of a band, psychedelic kind of band, and I played all the parts. I programmed the drums, so I kind of did a lot of editing on that and used samples and stuff. But the bass I played, the guitar I played, um, and I sang on it. And it's a bunch of protest songs just talking about how fucked up everything is, and uh, you know, I want to write happier music, so maybe we live in happier times. That's what I say. Um, and yeah, I'm working on doing a new record with that, and it's not going to be all protest songs, but there is going to be some of that in there too. And it's called the Non-Human Beings is the name of the group, the name of the band. Um, I'll put a link in the description for the band too. Um, and yeah, much love, everybody. You know, we'll get through this. You know, but let's hope that this is rock bottom. Like, you know, that old saying, like, oh, it's got to get worse before it gets better. It's like, how much worse does it actually have to get before it starts to get better? Can someone tell me, is this just like a bottomless pit, or does it actually start to ever get better? Because this is fucked. And uh, the whole world sees this. I've considered seeking asylum in another country and like immigrating somewhere else, and fuck these fascists. They don't get to have that much power. Um, I'm gonna leave on my own terms, and I can come back on my own terms freely. Uh, yeah, they don't get to have that much power, so they can go fuck themselves and pound sand. Um, I know the world is rooting for us to get past this because we're all suffering from it. At least our allies around the world. They're probably heartbroken at how uh, what a fall from grace, you know. And even when it was good, it wasn't all that graceful. You know, the war machine after World War II was how we made money, and not it's not sustainable. One, and you know, just morally, there's a better way to make money. It's just disturbing. You can't go around destabilizing nations and robbing their resources. And um, that's why America has developed the bad reputation that it deserved. And it's up to us to change that in how we carry ourselves and how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. After this regime is removed, not only do we need to restore USAID, but expand it and really care for the climate, because we are already at the point of no return. So we're just going to have to do everything we can as a species to mitigate the damage that's already been done since the industrial age and the amorality of the oil industry and the military industrial complex. Yeah, I'm just going to stop it there and just, much love, everybody. Uh, like I said, may we live in happier times and be good to yourself, be good to the others around you, and um, keep fighting the good fight. Love you guys. Later.